Good afternoon and welcome to another KREW Stories. Today I am joined by two awesome people, meaning Bas. Bas, say hi.
Hi.
Bas has an awesome online marketing company where he helps mainly startups that are still growing. And he's working on two other startups, a watch company and a company that helps you buy the products cheapest. So we'll be talking with Bas today and go into all of these aspects onto how he runs his business. And of course, Kushi is here in the background as well. Hi, Kushi.
Hi.
Kushi is an intern at KREW, so she works together with me as I'm the founder of KREW. And Kushi asked to be in the background today to come up with very smart questions in case she thinks of some. So thanks, Kushi. Anything you want to say before we start? Anything
No,
to
I'll
add?
just pop in if I have questions.
Great. Sounds good. All right. So before we start and have our sort of interview with Bas, let me just tell you a little bit about KREW Stories. So if this is your first time tuning in, KREW Stories is actually a way to share true stories behind the businesses of driven entrepreneurs like Bas and like Tatiana, which we had last week, who is a portrait photographer. And during our sessions, we basically have three parts, and they keep changing every week, but it's also because of the feedback we keep getting, which is awesome. So keep giving us feedback. So the parts today will be, first, I'll be asking Bas a few questions about what his businesses are all about, how he runs them, so you may also use that knowledge to run your businesses better. Then we'll go into a lesson learned, something that Bas learned recently or a long time ago that helped him, again, run his business and maybe even change the way he runs it. And finally, if you're tuned in, any questions that you have, anything at all, be sure to share them in chat because then we'll be able to ask them at the end of this broadcast. So should only be about 15 minutes, but that should be plenty to get some awesome knowledge from Bas, basically, right, Bas?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you ready?
Yeah,
Yeah, feeling good?
yeah, still.
All right, great. So, Bas, I already mentioned a little bit about your businesses that you're running. Maybe it's best that you still explain a bit about what is everything that you're doing, because I think it sounds like a lot when people just heard me like ramble on. So, what is it actually that you're helping people with?
So, first and foremost, I am a startup marketeer. So I help startups with the marketing. So that's marketing strategy, but also advertising, all of the things. It's very broad that comes to marketing. I help startups mainly because they don't really have a lot of time. They have limited funds, and most of the startups make the same mistakes in the beginning. So it's cool to have someone there that helps them and not make those mistakes. That's what I do. So I help startups with social media, post advertising, also advertising on search engines, a bit of strategy and such. So that's what I do most of my time. On the side, I am involved with two companies. One is called Wijzer. It's a watch brand that I founded with one of my good friends, and it's more than just a watch. It's a mindfulness product. So whenever we share content about it, we share things about being happy, thoughtful in your day, some tips and everything, so that you wear something on your wrist that makes you think about the precious moments in life. The third thing that I'm involved with is a company called Womp. And basically what it is for consumers is they can set a price alert on a product that they want to buy. Let's say a phone. The phone is usually 600 euros, but you would like to pay 500 euros for it. You set a price alert, and when it drops down to 500 euros, you get an alert and you can buy the product. On the other side, retailers can offer the products to you for that price. So it's basically a price matchmaking process. So it's like Tinder, but then for consumer electronics and consumer goods. That's called Womp. It's a web app, app.womp.com. Check it out yourself.
Cool. Yeah, we'll share all those links. I guess we can share them in the
Cool.
chat. Maybe even Kushi can do that in the meantime on the background, so people are sure to be able to find all of this. And of course, just LinkedIn would be if they Google you. Bas, the first question that popped into my mind is that, like, why so many businesses? I can imagine that you have your hands full with your online marketing business, because I literally saw you go from, someone with almost no clients at the beginning, or you just started like last year, basically, and
Mhm.
suddenly you had too many. And then still I hear that you're also starting this other watch company, this other Whoop thing. It's like, why?
Why? That's a very good question. The short answer would be I'm very quickly enthusiastic about something, and I'm very bad at saying no. That would be the short answer. But the longer would be is the watch company was already a dream uh, of my friend and I to do since we were in college. So and yeah, starting with the startup marketing, that is basically my bread and butter. That's where I make a living from. And then Womp just came around. I get asked, I think at least once or twice a month by either my clients or other people, hey, would you like to join this or that? So sometimes it's for them to avoid having to pay me and to make me shareholder or whatever. And sometimes it's just because they think I've got the right knowledge. So it comes on my path, it comes across, and yeah, I just have to keep in mind, do I want to participate in this or not? So lately I've been saying no a few times, but yeah, that's how it started.
I can imagine that's what often happens when you have a marketing agency, that people just keep asking you, like, "Hey, can you help with this startup? Hey, can you help with that?"
Yeah.
But what I was then thinking, like, if you have all these things going, how do you manage your time between them? Because I already, with just KREW and my online academy business,
Mhm.
just managing those two things, it's crazy to me. And sometimes just the switching cost of going from one thing to another, it's hard. So I was wondering, how do you do this? Have you developed any ways to deal with this better?
Yeah. So first, I always like to work backwards. So first, visualize or write down what I actually need, and then see how I can get there. So the thing that I need is I need a roof over my head, and I need some income. So that's the most stable thing. Is my startup marketing business what I do. So what I basically just did very plainly is I wrote down how many hours do I need to be billable, how many days do I need to work. Okay, so how many hours per week or how many days per week do I have left for the other projects? Because Wijzer, the watch company, is not profitable yet because we are still like expanding. So I don't really get a salary from there. And same with Womb. I just put myself on a budget time-wise as well, and I know how many hours, how many days per week I can spend on the side projects, so to say. And I book them in my calendar. I always plan ahead, so my week is already, my calendar is fully booked at the beginning of the week. And in order to not get confused, I use different Google accounts. So I always use Google Chrome to work from. And I have in the top right, most of you can see it, you have your own picture or whatever, and I have multiple there. So I have multiple Google accounts with multiple shortcuts, everything set up. So when I'm working on one company, I'm in that Google account and I'm focused there, so I don't get distracted by anything else.
That's very nice. I think there are a lot of things in what you just said that even I need to go back to and listen to again, because
Okay.
uh, those are all really good tips. And also, like, working backwards from the time and then putting that all that way in your calendar. It reminds me of something that Tom Bilyeu said. Like, if you want to, become a master of business, first you have to master your calendar. And I think that's really true, and that's something I still struggle with. So hearing you say this again reminds me of that, and again, makes me think, like, holy crap, this is good stuff. So, and also the Google accounts, never would have imagined. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah, just check the upper right corner of your Google Chrome web browser, and you can see you can log in as a guest. You can log in with different Google accounts, and they have different settings and everything. So yeah.
Nice. Bas, also, if we go into your LinkedIn, which Kushi already nicely shared in the chat, people can see that you often share tool tips. So I guess, knowing from what you just told us, tools are kind of your thing, maybe. You have a tooltip Tuesday. So I was also wondering, like, if you would have to recommend any tools to just entrepreneurs like you and me, people with not a huge business, maybe a small team, with some of the tools that you love using most. What is the first one that pops into your mind?
So the first one would be Phantom Buster, but that's a bit more technical. It helps you automate a lot of things. Another name that pops up is Zapier. Is also and basically those are tools that are if this then. So if I get someone to sign up for this, then I want them on this Google Sheet, for example. Those are things that you usually do manually, but if you do them, I always say if you do them more than 3 times per week, automate them, because it saves you a lot of time. And it's very user friendly. You have to watch maybe 2-3 videos of 5 minutes and you know how it works.
So can you think of any specific use cases that people could use that for? Because I can think, for example, customer acquisition, but I'm still struggling to really understand, okay, so if I think of Zapier or if I think of Phantom Buster, this is how I would use it.
This is how you would use it. Yeah. So there are things where you can automate signups. So let's say if you have a lead campaign on LinkedIn, people can sign up because, well, let's say the lead campaign is about giving away your new PDF about blah blah blah. So they sign up, and then those leads are in the LinkedIn backend, but you want them to share with your coworkers because they need to reach out to those people, for example. Then you could build an automation in Zapier that every time there's a new lead in your LinkedIn backend, it pops up in a new line in your Google Sheets. And you can even set another thing like an alert that your coworker will get an email or a text message every time when the new lead is added in Google Sheets, so everybody can work in it. So they don't have to access LinkedIn or the LinkedIn backend. You just share that one Google Sheet with them, and everything gets updated automatically.
Yeah, I can see the use of that. Great, thanks.
It's just one of 1,000 examples that are possible with this.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I think a good start would be to just Google it and go for some YouTube videos, as you mentioned, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. And maybe even, Bas, if you could share some, maybe also in the comments, that would be great, because then people have already a starting point. Not right now, but after can. It's fine.
Yeah.
Then I don't see Kushi yelling yet that she has any questions. Right,
Yeah,
Kushi?
not yet.
So then, in that case, I will move on to the next part, which is lesson learned. And this can be something small. This is just something that you learned recently that helps you run your business better. And I already know Bas has a great tip to share that is very recent. So, Bas, I would say, yeah, just take it away, man. Surprise us with this, another tool tip, basically, but a very recent one.
Yeah. So the thing that I learned actually this week is that on Instagram right now you can co-publish, co-post something with some other person, another business page or whatever. So can I share my screen here? Oh,
Yes.
let me check if I am doing it the right way.
Yes.
So are you seeing my Instagram page right now?
We are.
Okay, cool. So the thing that we basically did here is this is the watch company Weiser. and we have some followers on there. But also, this is my own private page. And what we did is we set up a post, and then instead of tagging someone, where you can usually on your phone, for example, you can tag someone. Right now, you can invite someone to co-publish, to co-post with you. And if you then accept it, so I just invited myself from the Wijzer business page, and then just invited my private Instagram. You can actually co-post a post, and that results in a lot more reach, a lot more people commenting. Those are actually just friends of mine that are following my private page. And then also there are other pages that are commenting on it. So you get a lot more reach, you get a lot more comments, a lot more likes, because you're actually comparing, well, like working together and using the strengths of both pages. This is not possible yet in most of the planning software. So let's say like Loomly, what I use, or whatever, or later, you have to do it from within the Instagram app. But I would say everybody go check it out, because if you can post one post using different pages, you will see insane results.
Great. Yeah, I can see a lot of usage inception there. Yeah, it's for me as well. It's a lot to manage on the back end here. But yeah, I can see great things for that. Actually, it's amazing, because it's such an easy thing to change, and immediately you can see a lot more reach for your business. Even with this tool that we're using now for the live streams, we also did something similar, right? That we both stream it to your account and to my accounts,
exactly,
so that the reach potentially increases. So I think those type of tools are just so easy to implement, but potentially huge.
Yeah, exactly.
So thanks, man.
And the thing is that if it's new, then usually the software itself will push it a lot more. So right now this is new on Instagram, and it will give you insane results. And after a while, when everybody's using it, it will calm down a little bit. So you have a first mover advantage here. So I would say jump right in, use it right away, because now is the best time.
Cool, great. Well, that then concludes the lesson learned, I would say, which means we can move on to the final part of today, which is a short audience Q&A. And I see some people have already been sharing some things in the chat on Facebook, like Breinstein said, goed bezig, Dutch. So, goed bezig. Thanks, Brein. And if you have any questions for Bas yourself, now would be the time to share it in the chat. And in the meantime, I will give the floor to Kushi, because I'm sure she's like eager to ask a question to Bas herself.
First of all, I want to know what that thing means, that in Dutch.
Goed bezig.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Good job.
Well, Bas, maybe you can explain.
I would translate it as good job, or yeah.
Yeah, I thought it meant good business, but
yeah. So you're doing well, basically. Yeah, it's difficult to translate for me now.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of have like a general question, because I don't know too much about the technicalities of being an entrepreneur. But for someone who just wants to start, or someone who doesn't know a lot but wants to become an entrepreneur, what kind of advice would you give them?
What kind of advice? Like the knowledge is always with the people. So make sure that you surround yourself with the right people. If you want to be a marketeer, if you want to be something else, doesn't mind, but just call those people up and make sure that you surround yourself with the people that know more about those things than you, and you can always ask them. And and try. That's the second tip, I would say. Try and just analyze, see what goes right, see what goes wrong, and so very basic tips, but that helped me a lot starting off.
Yeah, that's interesting, because KREW does exactly that, connects you with other people.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I think that's a great tip. Yeah, there are so many things you can do. But I think when it comes to what I know from Bas and how he runs his businesses, I'm often sort of envious almost of his sort of logical thinking. It's like just, straight to the point, just do this, do that. It's a skill that he has, and I'm often more like the creative perfectionist comes up in me, and I need to battle that. And I'm sure Boss has to battle other things, but I think that's a great way of looking at business, this sort of systematic way. I'm not sure, Boss, if you have any tip for people like me who are maybe more of the creative type.
Yeah, so two things. Usually I ask people, what's the worst that can happen? And if you think back from that, so that's like thinking back again, usually it's not that bad. And then the second thing is what I usually say to people, like 90% is enough. You don't have to have something perfect, because usually from going from 90% perfect to 100% perfect, that's where most of the time is, but you don't get the added value that much. So 90% is good enough. If you're happy with it, just send it out, send the post out, talk to the people, whatever, start your business, because 100% is almost not, it's not achievable. And if you achieve it, you will have put too much effort in the last 10%. So don't do it.
Yeah, no, I think that's totally true. And it just makes you also procrastinate, I think, because if your bar is that high, then the chances are that you just don't even start. And this, I noticed this can be on very small levels. This can be just when you start your day, right? And you just have a task there that you just want to do a little bit too well, or your bar set a little bit too high. Then you start maybe with all the other tasks, but at the end of the day, the task that you actually wanted to finish is still not done. So, yeah, and of course for the big things, the big life things, it's exactly the same, and I think that's even easier to procrastinate on than those daily tasks. So great tip. All right, Bas, Kushi, any final thoughts on your end before we wrap up the live for today?
No, nothing from my side.
No, for me, the only thing would be is I would advise people to start doing and just try something out. And then a little bit of promotion for KREW. KREW is the right environment to do that in, to ask people for advice, to try things out, to fail and fail fast, and then succeed. So go check out KREW.
Oh, maybe I can then promote you a little, but so well for watches, you should definitely check out Visor. I think there's a really nice thought behind the brand, to live more in the moment, and I like the pun as well. And Whoomp, it's still too early for me. I can't say much about it, but the app in essence sounds great. But I have been always forwarding people from KREW also to Bas if they have questions about online marketing, if they have a startup company, because especially all these things like anything ad related or online growth related on social media, that's usually what Bas knows very well. So
Sure.
definitely just asking, and I'm sure he can at least help you forward.
Yeah, sure. Just message me. I will try to reply as soon as possible to everyone that's just asking questions. Yeah.
And best place to do that is maybe on LinkedIn, right? Or Instagram.
Yeah. LinkedIn, or go to my website. It's just my first and last name, bassanderink.nl, and there's a contact form there as well. But LinkedIn is also fine. Yeah, it's all good.
Awesome. Well, Bas, thanks again for this, man. This was a lot of fun. It's also fun for me to host. And thanks already for the bit of KREW shout out. If people want to check out KREW, I would say check out the website, ask me, or use this link to be on the wait list. We're actually building out KREWs currently in the Netherlands and online. So wherever you're at, you can experience what a KREW is like. And if you fill out this form, then we get in touch and you can just join a KREW as a guest. Offline meetups, usually awesome people working on their personal growth, all entrepreneurs. So definitely give it a check if you're curious. Cool. Well, Kushi, Bas, how can I say it like this? Yeah. Thanks a lot for today. I will close off this live. See you guys soon. And have an awesome day, everyone.
You too.
Cool. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye bye.